For more than 2.5 millennia, the land we now call Iran has stood at the crossroads of civilizations. Empires have risen from its deserts and mountains. Religions have transformed its identity. Conquerors have invaded, and yet its culture has endured. This is the story of one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. Long before modern borders existed, ancient peoples built complex societies on the Iranian plateau. One of the earliest was the Elamite civilization, centered around Susa, flourishing thousands of years before Christ. But Iran's true imperial story begins in the 6th century BCE. A young ruler named Cyrus the Great rose from a Persian tribe and founded what became the Achaemenid Empire. His achievement was extraordinary. He united the Medes and Persians, conquered Babylon, and extended control from Central Asia to the Mediterranean. Unlike many conquerors, Cyrus ruled through tolerance. He allowed subject peoples to maintain their religions and traditions. The Cyrus Cylinder is often cited as one of the earliest charters of human rights. His successors expanded even further. Under the Darya Sea, the empire was organized into provinces called satrapies, connected by royal roads. Monumental architecture rose at Persepolis, symbolizing imperial authority. At its 8th, the Achaemenid Empire was the largest the world had ever seen. But in 330 BCE, a new conqueror appeared, Alexander the Great. His armies defeated the Persians and brought the empire to an end. Yet even under Greek rule, Persian culture did not disappear. It adapted. After Alexander's empire fragmented, Iranian power revived under the Parthians, masters of cavalry warfare who challenged Rome for centuries. They were followed by the Sassanid Empire in 224 CE. This was a golden age of pre-Islamic Persian civilization. Zoroastrianism became the state religion. Art, architecture, and trade flourished. The Sassanids were formidable rivals to the Byzantine Empire, but decades of war weakened both powers. In the 7th century, Arab Muslim armies swept across the region. By 651 CE, the last Sassanid ruler had fallen. Iran entered a new era. The Arab conquest brought Islam to Persia. Over time, the population gradually converted. Arabic became the language of religion and administration. Yet Persian culture proved resilient. Within 2 centuries, Persian scholars, poets, and scientists were leading voices of the Islamic Golden Age. One towering intellectual figure was Avicenna, whose works in medicine and philosophy influenced both the Islamic world and medieval Europe. Meanwhile, the poet Ferdowsi composed the or Book of Kings, preserving Iran's ancient myths and history in the Persian language. This epic helped ensure that Persian identity survived under Islamic rule. Iran became not merely a conquered land, but a cultural engine of the Islamic world. In the 13th century, devastation returned. The armies of Genghis Khan stormed across Persia. Cities were destroyed. Populations were massacred. Irrigation systems collapsed. Yet once again, Iran endured. Under Mughal successor states like the Ilkhanate, Persian administrators and scholars helped rebuild political structures. Persian art and miniature painting flourished. The conquerors themselves gradually adopted Islam and Persian culture. Even in catastrophe, continuity prevailed. A defining turning point came in 1501. A charismatic leader named Shah Ismail founded the Safavid dynasty. His most consequential decision was declaring 12 Shia Islam the official state religion. This permanently distinguished Iran from its mostly Sunni neighbors and shaped its identity to this day. Under Shah Abbas, the empire reached its peak. The capital, Isfahan, became one of the most magnificent cities in the world, filled with mosques, palaces, and grand squares. The Safavids centralized power, strengthened trade routes, and positioned Iran between the Ottoman Empire and Mughal India. But internal weakness and foreign invasions eventually brought decline. In the late 18th century, the Qajar dynasty took power. This period was marked by internal instability and growing foreign interference. Russia seized territory in the north. Britain expanded influence from the south, especially due to interest in trade routes and, later, oil. By the early 20th century, dissatisfaction led to the Constitutional Revolution of 1905 to 1911. For the first time, Iran established a parliament, the Majlis, and attempted to limit royal authority. Modern political reform had begun. In 1925, Reza Shah established the Pahlavi dynasty. He sought rapid modernization, building railways, establishing secular schools, and reducing clerical influence. His son, Mohammad Reza Shah, continued modernization after World War II. Oil wealth fueled industrial growth and ambitious development projects. However, political tensions simmered. In 1951, Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized the oil industry, challenging foreign control. 2 years later, a coup removed him from power and strengthened the Shah's rule. The Shah launched the White Revolution, promoting land reform and women's suffrage. Yet authoritarian rule, economic inequality, and suppression of dissent created deep opposition. Religious leaders, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens began to unite in protest. In 1979, massive demonstrations forced the Shah into exile. A cleric named Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile and led the revolution. The monarchy was abolished. A new system was created, the Islamic Republic. This government combined republican institutions, such as elections and parliament, with clerical oversight under the doctrine of vilayat-e-faqih. The revolution fundamentally reshaped Iran's domestic and foreign policy. Soon after the revolution, Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, invaded Iran in 1980. The Iran-Iraq War lasted 8 brutal years. Hundreds of thousands were killed. Cities were bombed. Chemical weapons were used. The war ended in 1988 without clear territorial change, but it left deep scars and reinforced revolutionary nationalism. Since then, Iran has navigated a complex, global position, facing sanctions, nuclear negotiations, regional rivalries, and internal debates about reform and tradition. Across 2,500 years, Iran has been Zoroastrian and Islamic, imperial and invaded monarchy and republic, isolated and globally influential. Empires fell. Religions shifted. Dynasties collapsed. Yet Persian language, literature, and identity endured. From the palaces of Persepolis to the streets of modern Tehran, Iran's history is not a straight line of rise and fall. It is a cycle of destruction and renewal, and perhaps that resilience is the most defining characteristic of all.